Well, hello there everyone, welcome to the next video. I think the video title is pretty self-explanatory. It's Marvel Rivals. I'll begin to Metroid Prime 2 here soon, but first, let's go ahead and take a look at the game arguably responsible for kind of reviving interest in Marvel, because we all know it's not the MCU doing that recently. Marvel Rivals was developed by a company called NetEase. At least I think I'm saying that right. They haven't done much that I've heard about before, but from the looks of it, they are responsible for some of the recent Marvel mobile titles, as well as helping Bloodstained Ritual of the Night be ported to mobile phones. They are a Chinese-based company, so it makes sense I don't know much about them. And before you get up in arms about that, regardless of your stance on Chinese-developed software, you should rest easy since I'm gonna assume you're not getting your news from a game like Marvel Rivals. If you are somehow doing that, then what the fuck? Marvel Rivals is a hero shooter, much like Paladins or Overwatch, just with your favorite Marvel heroes instead of whatever characters you recognize from your favorite adult sites. I've never been a big fan of hero shooters, but Marvel being attached to certainly got me to try this one out, and I gotta say, I'm quite enjoying it. The game features 6 game modes to play with currently 37 heroes to choose from. The story is rather complicated, with each character seeming to get their own background bio in addition to the overarching plot. I won't go into too much detail here since I'm sure you can find another YouTube video on the nitty gritty. I'm just going to give the most basic summary I can here. One day, Doctor Doom and Doctor Doom 2099 end up butting heads with each other as they both cause an anomaly that begins to fuse different time streams of the Marvel multiverse together. This causes different timelines with multiple variants of the same heroes, causing conflicts, especially with some characters such as Loki and Hela in a variant of Ysgard, or Black Panther in a version of Wakanda. They all don't give a damn about Doctor Doom's plans and just keep their eyes set on their own goals. However, some characters like Iron Man are working to use a new substance called Chronovium to undo the time entanglement and restore the Marvel multiverse, while the Spider-Man characters use their powers to fight off Doctor Doom's forces to buy Tony Stark time. And that's basically it as far as I'm going to get into. Again, there's more nitty gritty, but you can find that in other places. That's not the point of Marvel Rivals. And while that basic summary explains what's going on in various maps you're playing, this isn't some overly compelling narrative, and I don't think it was meant to be. This just screams tones of other multiplayer-focused games with a basic plot to explain the game, with more being on the side for those who start to care far too much about it. As for the game itself, let's start with the game modes Marvel Rivals has to offer. Convoy is your typical push-the-point hero shooter mode. One team is on offense, having to control the point to move it across the goal on the other side of the map, while the other team on defense simply has to prevent that from happening until time runs out. Convergence is essentially the same thing, but you have to capture the point first before advancing it instead of just having to control it. In competitive play, you'll play both sides, regardless of which mode it is, and it becomes all about who can push the point further, with additional rounds playing out if both teams manage to push the point all the way. Domination is similar to hardpoint in your average first-person shooter, but instead of moving points on a single map, you'll be tasked with holding a point at the center of the map until you reach 100% progress on the capture bar for your team, in which you'll be awarded a point and move on to a different map until a team reaches 2 points. And let me tell you, nothing sucks more than getting your bar on 99% and then suddenly the enemy team becomes the actual fucking Avengers, where your team has their little brother fill in for them while they take their fucking union break and you end up losing the match because of it. Clone Rumble is the new mode added halfway through Season 1. Instead of merely locking a hero for yourself, instead teams will vote for one hero to use, and then the 2 resulting picks are all that will be available for the entire match. This mode is limited being domination, however let me tell you, it is chaos enough with just that one mode. And pretty fun too when you can get a matchup like Hulk versus the Thing, or it can be the bane of my existence if a team of Penny Parkers trap the point with mine spawners. Conquest is your typical team deathmatch mode, and Doom Match is just a free-for-all. There's plenty of content to keep you invested, especially with a variety of heroes and villains to choose from. All the characters in the game are divided into 3 types. Vanguards are your tanks, with huge health pools, slow speeds, sometimes, and ways to hit hard. Duelists are your DPS characters, usually quick, nimble, and able to lay on the damage fast to get quick kills at the cost of not being able to take a lot of punishment themselves. Finally, our strategists, who are your support characters. Now, the characters that heal teammates are typically some of the fastest characters in the game, but both those come at the cost of being extremely squishy. Success in Marvel Rivals usually depends on a good balance of teamwork, as your supports will need to keep the team alive while the tanks and DPS will have to keep the enemy tanks and DPS from getting into the backline to cut off the heals. That doesn't necessarily mean you need 2 tanks, 2 DPS, and 2 healers per se, as it's totally possible to win or even excel with other combos. It's just a matter of what your team does and if they do what is needed to counter the other team. While each character is in 3 groups, that doesn't mean any of them are created equally. Characters like Luna Snow and Invisible Woman can heal at any time, but a character like Adam Warlock has his healing abilities tied behind a timer. Tanks like Captain America or Doctor Strange have shields to protect themselves from damage, but a tank like the Thing or Hulk is going to have to rely more on punching things and hoping their healers can keep up. Some DPS characters like Human Torch and Iron Man can fly, but characters like Bucky and Punisher have guns. And then you have characters like Mr. Fantastic, who is basically half tank. Besides their basic attacks and any passive abilities, every character will have special abilities with a cooldown timer. This can include stuns for the likes of Skullgirl or Luna Snow, special attacks like the Punisher's turret or Penny Parker's annoying as fuck spider nest. It could be a dodge roll for Star-Lord, or a fuck you get over here lasso for Bucky. Every character has their own playstyle with different abilities, of which most are exclusive to each hero. The less stun abilities on different characters would be nice in the future, just saying. Heroes also have team up abilities, where if you put them on the same team, they get additional abilities. This could be Luna Snow giving icy abilities to Namor and Jeff the Land Shock, Scarlet Witch giving Magneto a strong sword, the Hulk giving Gamma Power Iron Man, or Wolverine being able to be picked up and thrown by Hulk and the Thing. Yeah, getting picked up. Thrilling. In addition, every hero has an ultimate ability that they can use once their charge for it reaches 100%. These are devastating moves that can turn the tide of a match quickly when used properly. And clearly someone on the design team was a fan of Syndrome from The Incredibles, because their approach to balancing these attacks was basically,
and when everyone's super, no one will be.
For healers like Mantis, Luna Snow, Invisible Woman, or Cloak and Dagger, it is essentially a team can't die button for anyone near them. Many DPS from Spider-Man to Scarlet Witch, their ultimate attacks do extremely high damage, if not just straight instantly killing opposing team members caught in the attack. Tanks and the remaining supports also have a variety of ultimates. For the likes of the Thing and Doctor Strange, they get stun attacks, and characters like Rocket boost the damage done by your teammates. That being said, as broken and unbalanced as most of the ultimates are, some ultimates also do still kind of just suck. Black Widow's Plasma Shot has been nerfed from slowing enemies to a crawl to just hindering them, turning it from another stun attack to a minor annoyance. Mr. Fantastic's ultimate for a while there did next to no damage, making it hard to actually weaken an enemy, let alone kill any of them. Though it did recently get a buff to make it a good ultimate to pair up with other ultimates by a teammate to soften up enemies or finish them off. Speaking of team up ultimates, Storm's Tornado ult can also absorb the fire tornadoes from the Human Torch's ultimate to do enough damage to kill supports through their healing ults, ending the ult and being an overall counter to them. I think the different ultimates are a massive part of the game. There is a reason why some have become so memorable. That being said, while the game for the most part keeps everyone overpowered enough for the game to be considered balanced, there are still some characters that make me want to break a controller in two. Moon Knight can be pretty busted when no one accounts for him, as his onks allow him to reflect his shocks off anyone he hits, with the onk automatically bouncing back and hitting anyone near them again. And if he misses, it still ends up being a free shot since it will still reflect off the onk. Now this is more of a problem because anyone who's bad at the game seems to love to ignore these onks. But while it can be a serious problem in that scenario, I have no issue inflicting such pains on bad teams that love to stay huddled together. So yeah, I'll play as Moon Knight from time to time. Groot I feel pretty similar about. While Groot playing Fortnite with his placeable walls can be pretty annoying, especially if someone on your team isn't careful about blocking his own teammates. Just like Moon Knight, it can be a great counter to teams that get too close together to stay alive, since you can divide them up with good wall placement and pick them off. Now a character I don't feel the same about has to be Namor. His squigs like Moon Knight's aunts get totally ignored by many players, and since they don't have to be near enemies to shoot at them, it makes it easier for them to be placed in really annoying locations and shave off a lot of health. Scarlet Witch is equally as annoying. Her ult isn't that bad to deal with since a good team can target and kill her before she kicks it off, but Scarlet Witch doesn't have to aim at all, as she can just quickly drain the health of anyone nearby. She's also capable of disappearing into a ball of energy to run away when low on health, not once, but twice. Also she has a stun ability, so fuck her. But not even Scarlet Witch can compare to arguably the worst character in the game, Squirrel Girl. Fuck me, I was only nitpicking up to this point because I actually don't have that much of a problem with the characters mentioned. And as I said, I switched to some of them myself, like Moon Knight and Groot, in order to counter other teams. But Squirrel Girl, oh my god, fucking Squirrel Girl. Let's start from the top. Her squirrel sharks have a stupidly long range and bounce off walls too. She can spam the fuck out of them as well. She also has a stun ability, so that instantly adds her into the list of fuck you. And she even gets a second stun ability when teamed up with Spider-Man. Her ult has homing properties too. She can also jump super high and run away like a little bitch anytime you get her low, and she has an ability that refreshes all her other abilities, giving her an extra stun or an extra jump. It is super easy for someone to pick Squirrel Girl, hide around the corner, and just spam sharks towards the point and get results because of the massive damage they do. Her stun is also probably the easiest to hit in the game with its massive hitbox ability to bounce around like her regular sharks. I think only Penny Parker comes close, and even then, I still don't think it compares. Therefore, I hereby dub Squirrel Girl the no-skill bitch. I personally ended up making Mr. Fantastic and Lunar Snow my mains for Season 1, even going as far as getting the coveted Lord status with both. What's Lord? Basically just bragging rights that you've played way too much with a character. So yeah, I've played a little too much with Mr. Fantastic and Lunar Snow. Oh well. I still get flashed these fancy icons on the character select. Overall though, Marvel Rivals is a good game. The community for the most part seems good, though you do still have some shitheads like guys running their mouths because they just used an easy character to rack up stacks and quick play of all things, or crying because their team just got walked all over. But for the most part, it's good. And yeah, sometimes you have to deal with no one wanting to play anything but DPS. Please stop insta-locking Spider-Man. No, switching to another 5 DPS characters when we only have one support isn't gonna fix your KD. Stop it, you're gonna go 0-16 for a reason. But there are also plenty of people who will switch off DPS to play support or tank when they find the rest of the team are being jackasses. The game looks pretty good, and while there isn't much to say in terms of the soundtrack, the audio is still good with character banter and some nice sound effects for different abilities. If you're interested in Marvel Rivals, I'd say it's worth a download. It is free after all, though if you're still on last gen, you will be missing out. This is a game for PC, PS5, and the Xbox Series consoles. Grow up and upgrade. These consoles are 5 years old now, the PS4 era needs to die now. Season 2 is coming up soon, so this video may become dated pretty fast, but the game itself is going strong, so it's a good time to just jump in if you're interested. Yeah, I think I say everything I need to say about Marvel Rivals there. Short video, just wanted to check it out because it's popular. Yeah, I do like Marvel. I'm more of a Marvel guy than a DC guy, so if there's a good Marvel game, I'm down to give it a try. But, you know, we must move on. So, next video, we'll finally take a look at Metroid Prime 2. So if you're looking forward to that, maybe think about subscribing. Maybe not, I don't really care. So, yeah, I'll see you all then. Good night.